The Shek Report, with Dave Damashek reporting.
Did you know the Ravens are named after a poem by Edgar Allan Poe, who moved to Baltimore, got drunk, and died? I know, it's true. Damashek here. The wild card round is in the books. Now it's time for my review. Just remember, players and coaches, don't get angry at me if I call your name. Ultimately, I didn't do this to you. You did this to you. Let it begin!
At number 5, Chris Christie spending an inordinate amount of time in Big D. It's a significant health hazard to Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, who's been listed as questionable for Sunday's game after this hit. But more importantly, it's just plain weird for a New Jersey guy to be rooting for the Dallas Cowboys. King George III has never shown up in Foxborough to hang out with Pat Patriot. That said, I thought this was just as disturbing. Imagine if you were a Niners fan who had just woken up from a 10-month coma. Seeing this would be super weird. At number 4, the Bengals, who at this point really just should change their team name to the Cincinnati Goldilocks. They're not too hot, they're not too cold, they're just kinda lukewarm. If you're one of those just happy to be nominated sorts, the Bengals are in fine shape, and they're certainly not alone in that place. They're like the St. Louis Blues, Georgia football, Billy Bean, Pitt basketball, or 6-time Oscar nominee, 0-time winner Glenn Close. Speaking of thespians, I caution Bengals fans about rooting for a change. Think of your team as a successful TV actor. You might prefer them to become a movie star, but for every George Clooney, there's a Shelley Long, Eric LaSalle, or David Caruso out there. At number 3, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman for putting the whammy on Cowboys kicker Dan Bailey. Take a listen.
41-yard try for the guy who is the most accurate field goal kicker in NFL history, and he pushes it.
These two got to cut this out. Remember what they said when they covered the Titanic's maiden voyage?
You and I can't wait. I know it makes you happy, it makes me happy.
Not to mention what they said after Anthony Hitchens interfered with Brandon Pettigrew.
It is going to be in the defense. That's pass interference.
I think it was the right call, as Mike Pereira said.
No wonder the flag got picked up. Buck and Aikman jinxed it for the Lions. At number 2, the Arizona Cardinals for not starting Matt Hasselbeck against the Panthers. Now, to be fair, I didn't know about the rules change allowing the use of other teams' players either, but if the Panthers could borrow Dallas's Cole Beasley to return punts on Saturday, surely you could have had the Colts' backup QB under center. Fair's fair. And that brings me to number 1 in this week's brown paper bag of shame, which goes to Terrell Suggs for this interception, which he quite literally pulled from his astoundingly strong thighs. As NFL Statsman asks, isn't that a football baby he's having there? Yes. And that's the real problem. The world's already got a football baby, the baby who picks football games. Sure, the real football baby only went 2-2 in the wild card round, but it was a very weird weekend. Yellow flags disappearing from the field without explanation, sportscasters struggling with geography.
Matthew Stafford arrived in his high school hometown of Texas yesterday.
And weirdest of all, Tony Romo coming through with the season on the line. Amidst all the craziness, Coach Mike Tomlin, to his credit, refused to use Le'Veon Bell's absence as an excuse. But I disagree. Not having your all-pro running back is a good, nay, great excuse. Stop being so classy, Tomlin. You're making me look bad.
That's why I'm giving you this. It's the brown paper bag of shame. Till next time, try not to embarrass yourselves. Come on. Hey, you know that Pittsburgh forged the steel that built the ships and tanks that won World War II? You don't like Pittsburgh, you don't like freedom.
Shame.